All right. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. Let's see here, just checking a few of these things to make sure I got the settings correct. Thanks so much for joining today. We still have about a minute or so remaining, so we're going to let other people join in as well. A question I like to ask in the beginning, whoever's here so far, is where are you joining from? So let's start making use of the questions and answer panel. Maybe let us know. Whoever can let us know where you're joining from, that would be great. I do see one person here, and I know this person's from all the way from Philippines. So wow, welcome. Let's see, Minneapolis. I'll only be able to read a few of them. So let's see the ones that come in. Once again, let us know where you're from. I see Houston, hey, Caroline, Minneapolis. Wow, all the way from India. Alpesh, thanks for joining us all the way from India. I appreciate that. Now I see one from Maine as well. Oh, a few other people that I recognize here on the list. Great to see people that I have seen before that I have not seen in a while. Always wonderful to have that. Folks from Seattle, wonderful. Thank you very much. So I do want to try to stay on time as much as possible. Hopefully you can see me. You can see Carrie. We're going to say hi and then we'll get started. Carrie, you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I am the head of partner relations at VisualSP. So following this presentation, if you have any other questions or would like to speak with us more about learning in the flow of work, please reach out to me. We'll share my email at the end. And I look forward to continuing conversations, and I hope you enjoy the presentation today.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Carrie. So I just wanted to, both of us just wanted to say hi. That's why we have our webcam on right now, but we're going to turn the webcam off, and the remaining presentation is going to be me showing the screen and talking you through a lot of different things. So let's do that. Webcam off here. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So it would be great once I start sharing if you can let me know in the Q&A if you can see it. Okay. Are you able to see it? Let me know. Looking at the questions here to make sure. Yep.
We've got
Good.
a lot of
Okay.
yeses. I think we're
Okay,
good.
great. Thank you very much, Amy. Lamia, appreciate that. Alrighty, let's do this over here. So learning in the flow of work in action. Hope you're ready. Buckle your seatbelts. Let's do this. Now, this phrase, learning in the flow of work, I'm sure you've heard of this phrase before. The question becomes, what is it? And actually a bigger question is, why should you care? I'm a big proponent of the WIIFM radio station. What's in it for me? That is something that all of us are asking ourselves. Why should I care about a specific thing? And same thing in here. There's been a lot of talk about this from Microsoft, from other companies out there as well. Learning the flow of work is the new big thing, but why? What does it do? Why should you care? So what I'm going to do in this presentation is not just understanding what learning in the flow of work is, but exactly what does it look like in a practical sense. Show it to you in action. Okay? We'll be digging into it, and I'll be answering your questions. So please, if you do have questions, put it into the questions and answer chat and go to webinar. Would love to get to that. The components I'll be talking about to show you learning in the flow of work is going to be a learning management system, an example of that, a knowledge hub, and digital coach. Okay. See, using learning management systems, which many of you already have, or using knowledge hubs, or a combination of both of them, and also the concept of digital coach, which may be new to you, and I'll show you exactly what it is. Putting it all together gives you a blended learning solution, a hybrid solution, and that's what we're going to be talking about here. Those of you who have not had the pleasure to meet, my name is Asif Rahmani. I'm the founder and CEO of VisualSP. I personally have been in the learning business since 2005 as a trainer myself, speaking at many conferences around the world. Unfortunately, these days, many of them have been shut down. But even virtual conferences, I love doing those. Have had a chance to write multiple books on Microsoft technologies over many years. on Wiley Publications is the publisher that I went with. And also I've been a Microsoft MVP since 2007, so 15 years now doing this. And I love talking to people like yourselves, helping people. I'm based in Chicago, but virtually, of course, we're connected everywhere. Here's my LinkedIn profile and my email address as well. So take advantage of it. Would love to chat with you after the webinar if you want to reach out. Okay. Now, before I begin the in depth of the presentation, I want to set the stage by telling you a story. This is a story of my experience personally of training end users in Chicago. This is not a recent story either. This is from back in 2009. I was invited to teach a 2-day end users class in my hometown, so Chicago. Okay, it was right in downtown. It was to an employees of organization, which this organization was in the business of providing secondary education institutions like colleges, universities. They provided those institutions with insurance. I don't want to name the actual organization, but that's what they did. Okay, this is back in 2009. So what happened, I was teaching these 30 people over a 2-day period. This is not me in the front, by the way, just in case you're wondering, this is not the actual class, but it looked very professional, very much like that. It was a nice room. And yeah, so I taught this class for 2 days. Now, the topics I covered, since this was a SharePoint focused class at that time in 2009, I talked about many different things that a power user or end user needs to know about, like pages, lists, libraries, setting up permissions, using web parts, and a whole lot of goodies in SharePoint on premises at that time. But the actual topic is regardless, doesn't matter. It was the experience I'm talking about, right? Now, after the 2 days of training was over, the person who hired me said, I would love for you to stay in our corner office, and it was overlooking the Chicago River. This was not the exact view, but it was so beautiful. It was kind of like that. And said that, if you don't mind, Asif, we'll pay you for an extra day. Stay in our corner office. If people have questions, they'll come to you, and you can answer their questions after, and then you're free to go after that. I thought easy enough. There will not be any questions, or at least there'll be just some questions because I taught them so much over the last 2 days. How could there be too many questions? So it's an easy day for me. At least that's what I thought. I was wrong, because the very next day when I was sitting in that office, there was a line out the door the whole day. I kid you not. These questions that were coming up about, from people of how do they do their job using the technology that I showed them. It was not really about the technology specifically, but it was about them. How do I do this? How do I upload pictures of the picnic we just had right now to show to other people? How do I give access to this library of documents to Jim because he needs it? How do I make a really good presentation of this things that I have over here to my director? It was all these questions which honestly I thought I taught them all of this stuff the last 2 days. So I felt pretty ashamed, to be honest. I felt like I was a horrible teacher because I did all that stuff, teaching them these things in the last 2 days, showing them everything now that I was telling them one-on-one, and they don't remember any of those things. But after the experience in Chicago that I had back in 2009, I thought about this some more, that do end users, do employees like this, do they really want to be trained? Is it what you really want them to do to empower them to help them do their job? And I realized, in my opinion, that thoroughly training end users doesn't really work. The traditional classroom that we do, the binge learning, where you just throw all that stuff on them and make sure or hope that they remember, it doesn't work. It never has. We're preparing employees not to take a test. We're preparing them to do their job, right? So then the question becomes, do end users, do these employees really want to be trained, or do they want to be helped? When a person comes to you, an employee comes to you and asking you, many of you on the webinar here are folks who are helping other people, right? They're helping users, you're helping end users, empower users as well. Are they asking you, can you train me? Or are they asking you, can you help me? Can you show me? Those words matter, in my opinion, right? Because if people are asking for help, then they want help while they are working. That's what they're really looking for. They're not just looking for training, but they're looking for true help. Having said that, My humble opinion is that instead of training, we should be providing learning in the flow of work. That's where the concept of learning in the flow of work becomes a reality. Now, before I dive into learning in the flow of work, let's look at the definition of what this phrase really means. So this is not my definition. This is out there from the practitioners of learning in the flow of work. It says learning in the flow of work involves accessing quickly and easily an answer or a short piece of learning content while you're working. Okay. Once again, to put it simply, while actually working as an employee, I have information as an employee that I need so I can access that information without stopping my work and I just move forward. So it helps me do my job. Learning in the flow of work that we've been talking about can be accomplished with a specific methodology called 5 moments of need methodology. Now, would love to hear if any of you on the webinar has heard of it. So if you could maybe raise your hand, would love to count some of them as I move forward. Have you heard of 5 moments of need methodology at all? Anybody? I see at least a few. Alan, Caroline, Einer. Okay, great, great, great. Wonderful. Well, learning in the flow of work and 5 moments of need, I think, go together really well. So let me dig into the methodology. I just went backwards. Sorry about that. 5 moments of need methodology was created by these two brilliant people, Dr. Conrad Gottfriedson and Bob Mosher. And here's what it really says. The first moment of need, which everybody goes through, all employees, is when someone is hired, let's say, or joins a new department or a new team, they're learning something new for the first time, right? They're brand new to the information. Even if they're just transferring from place to place, it's something that they're learning, they're getting exposed to for the first time. The second one is when you're digging in, expanding your knowledge. You might refer to this as deep learning, for example, in your particular subject area. So you're just learning more and getting deeper. This is the second phase or the second moment. The third one, which I think is really, really practical, is when you're applying the knowledge, when people have to act upon what they've learned, right? When you're doing your job, you need the information to do your job. Number four, problem solving, because problems arise. That's just a fact of life. It's going to happen. But the question then becomes, how do you resolve issues when they come up? And that's the fourth phase or the fourth moment of need. And fifth one, change is a fact of life. So change and transformation is going to happen, whether you like it or not. The question is, how do you react to it? How do you adapt to new ways of doing things while unlearning things that you already know? That's really hard because you got deeply ingrained practices. How do you unlearn that and learn something that's different? Okay, so that's the 5 moments of need, the 5 phases that everybody, all employees, all of us go through in any organization. And I'll be speaking to them and showing you examples of each of them. Okay, but before we dig into it, let's just quickly talk about some of the business benefits, because without benefits and without the why, it's all useless, in my opinion. Well, these things, the 5 moments of needs, putting them in practice, reduce support tickets and costs as a result of the implementation, better efficiency, time savings, increased productivity, lowering error rates, so you don't have all these issues to begin with that sometimes do happen, improving user experience and user satisfaction. That's super important. Enhancing adoption, user adoption through better processes. And lastly, reducing training costs. Now, actually, it's not just the 6, there's more benefits, but I just wanted to summarize that these are the 6 that you should be thinking about and more of why we should do this. Now, it's not just me saying these things, and it's not just Bob and Dr. Conrad who are actually talking about 5 moments of need. There's practitioners out there in really large companies that you guys know of who have done this and are still doing it very successfully. So this, for example, Vice President of Learning from Walmart, Brandon Carson, talks about how Bob and Con, by the way is short for Conrad, have gifted the industry with a practical methodology, enabling a sharp focus on contextual performance, talking about contextual performance and being the originator of learning in the flow of work, or also known as workflow learning. Dhirendra Doshi from Colgate, the director of global supply chain learning, talking about 5 moments of need and how that has to be implemented to avoid overload and under recall of learning. And lastly here, Scott Schmolt from United Healthcare talking about this is the future. This is where it needs to be, and we got to pivot away from traditional training and traditional things that we do. The future of learning and performance support. So there's a lot of people. These are just the three that I was able to fit into the slide, but there's so many more who talk about this, and this has been happening for at least more than a decade, from what I understand. I got to know the 5 moments of need and Dr. Khandra and Bob, not that long ago. I would say just a few years ago, but even before that, this has been in the implementation for quite some time. Here's another graphic from Apply Synergies, which is the actual main corporation that does 5 moments of need. And it says here that the 5 moments of need, this is how it plays out. You're learning something new, learning more, and that's the formal part of the learning, right? The 10%. After that, the 70% of the learning happens in the workflow. So learning in the workflow is happening when you're applying things, you're solving for things, and things are changing. And then all across the board, social learning is always taking place. So you're getting mentor, you're talking to people, right? That's just happening automatically. That's 20% of it. So why are we focusing on 10% so much? Is the question that I've always had. I mean, this is super important, but the other parts of it we have to focus on also with true blended learning. So having said that, I'll be showing you an example of new learning, more learning with learning management system, Knowledge Hub, and the remaining is going to be using the digital coach. So 70% of it is the apply, solve, and change using digital coach, which is an overlay on top of systems, providing you learning as you go along. Uh, implementing blended learning approach, doing it this way, I truly humbly believe is the best way to do it. And quite honestly, the digital coach we're talking about for the last three stages, but when you have an overlay on top of your applications and any applications, that's really going to go across the board, and it's going to take over any type of interaction that you have with any system, whether sometimes actually if it's not digital, even non-digital, then you would have a non-digital coach in that sense in the manufacturing line or whatever, but there's always something that's available right at the moment of need, and that's what the coaching is all about. Now, of course, I'll be focusing on the digital aspect of the coach in my live demo here, which I'll be starting in a minute now, delivering learning in the flow of work with 5 moments of need. I'll be using 3 specific applications to just make it very real, very specific. But these are just sample applications in this case. For the Knowledge Hub, I'll be using Microsoft Viva Learning. Okay. For the Digital Coach, that's our application, VisualSP. So I'll be showing exactly how Digital Coach can be overlaid on top of systems and how it helps people. And for the LMS part of it, I'll be using a well-known LMS out there called LMS 365. Once again, these are just for sample. I'll be using these very specific ones, but other kind of systems can also be used for this blended learning approach. All right, so digging into it, the scenario here is this lady, Jamie. Meet Jamie. She has been hired by Contoso Corporation. She's an experienced salesperson, so she's not new to sales, and she has 10 years of Salesforce experience. And along the same lines, she's been using Google for email, collaboration, calendaring, and so forth. Now, Jamie has been hired as a member of the sales team, obviously having all the sales experience. Contoso, as many of you know, is a Microsoft corporation. It's a fictional one in this case, but Contoso uses Microsoft technologies, period, all Microsoft in this case. So how will she, get used to it, especially because she is completely remote, working from home, which is a reality for many of us these days. We're working remotely, and we still need to collaborate with our colleagues, collaborate on the systems, understand the systems to get the best use out of them. So let's dive in using these things in mind. The first phase, learning for the first time, getting started with a new team, learning systems. In this case, I'm actually going to dig into dynamics. That's why it says dynamics here, but learning any new system. Now remember, Jamie is new to the team completely, right? New to the team, new to the systems that the team uses. So what's going to happen is first she has gotten a message. And by the way, the components I'm going to use for this particular demo is going to be LMS 365 and VisualSP. So here's the first demo. she gets an email. I have the email right here. This email has been sent to her by her new manager. In this case, that's me. And I'm saying over here, hey, Jamie, welcome to our sales team at the Contoso Corporation. You'll be starting out by first navigating to the Microsoft Dynamics 365 system to get acquainted, since you'll be spending a lot of time there. You're a salesperson, we need you there. Now, remember that for Jamie, Dynamics is brand new. So let's go into it. She clicks on that link, and I already have this set up over here that if you click on the link, she ends up over here. And this tour that you can see right here, this comes up automatically. Okay, this tour, this walkthrough, there it goes by both names. This is provided by the Digital Coach, as I was saying before. Oops, it's actually DC, not DG. Digital Coach. And the Digital Coach is bringing up this first step of the tour in which the CEO of the company is actually welcoming the new employees. Okay, she can make this full screen, watch the video. Now this video is an onboarding for the course that's coming from the LMS in this scenario. So it's coming in, it's giving her all the information, welcoming, etc. When she's done, she clicks on next. Now immediately, as you saw, I didn't click on anything, but the system, the Digital Coach, clicked on the plus button over here, which is the quick create category. And now it's showing me that you can quickly create any records from here. Doing that, she clicks on next. The third step here shows her that this is your main navigation. Okay, this is all live environment, obviously, so it's showing this is the main navigation and it's showing the different parts of the navigation here, how she can get around. Next. Now, you probably noticed over here that automatically it actually took her to the next screen. I did not click anything, but now we're at the leads screen. And not just that, but it took her to the view where it's showing her open leads. It's saying that, okay, so I'm going to leave you here, but this is where your open leads are. You can create new leads, obviously, and it's showing in the animated image how she can do that. She can click on the new, just like that, and make a new lead. Now after this, it's also telling her that if you need help, you need support, click on contact support and we can help you. This is already hooked up in this scenario to the support@contoso.com right there. And lastly, but definitely not least, it's also giving, as a digital coach, a call to action here saying that if you wanted to convert a lead, so these are your leads, I can show you as a digital coach how you can convert the lead and go to the next step. Okay, if she does click on this, this is other information that's coming from the LMS as part of the course. In this case, is showing how can she create an opportunity. Okay, once again, she can make this full screen and watch the video and see exactly how that's done. And that's the first run experience, a first time someone comes in and sees the information. Okay, Digital Coach was used and a learning management system was used to make this happen. Now we'll go to the second one. Here we go. The second phase or the second moment of need that also happens, and it's happening to Jamie also in this scenario, is learning more. So discovering new information and also digging in deeper into new knowledge. That's going to happen, right? A few days have now gone by. Now, Jamie has been given access to a document library within SharePoint, and she has to use that one to manage her team's documents. Okay, so we'll show you that and show you exactly what happens. The components are going to be used for this particular phase is going to be Knowledge Hub using the Microsoft Viva Learning Hub and VisualSP as the digital coach. That's the two components we're going to use in this particular one. So let's dig into that. Here we go. Most of you, I'm sure, are already aware that this is a SharePoint document library. It's a modern view of a library, pretty popular in the community, obviously, used a lot, either this or directly within Teams. But keep in mind that Jamie is coming here as a user of Google products before. So for her, this is new, okay? She has been giving access to it, but she doesn't know exactly how to use this. Now, having said that, the good thing is she gets to learn on the job, learn more, dig deeper, because there are components here that she can use to learn more. Let me show you when she comes here for the first time, what happens. You see this over here? So this button is pulsating because that's the digital coach that's getting her attention, saying that if you want a document library tour, you can click on this and I'll give you a tour. How to get around a document library. Next step. What am I seeing now? There is no next button, so I cannot click on a next button. As a user, as Jamie in this case, I have to click on this to move forward. As these things are happening also, by the way, all these analytics are getting collected in the back. So the manager later can, for Jamie, can see what she has already seen and also guide her in her learning journey along the way afterwards. Okay, so it's showing her that these are all views and she can learn more about views, which I won't do right now. And here are the headings and filter, more filters. She can get that from here. And then she can search the library here. Great. Okay, so she got to learn more about that directly from here and using the digital coach. In addition, one day Jamie happens to come back to this library and I have this stage in the different tab here. Automatically, there's a banner that appears on top. Well, we know because of her, what she has done so far, that she does not know about Microsoft Teams yet. She does not know that there's a Microsoft Teams product, first of all, and there's a channel within Teams where all of her teammates are collaborating. Because this is her first time just getting into all this stuff, we're letting her know that, hey, did you know that we have a Teams team? You can go there to collaborate and just click on the Take Me There button, which she will click on right now, and it will take you there. So here it is. It says plans for the weekend. How are things going, everyone? This is actually me in this case. Let's say our boss, and asking, letting her know, welcoming her that if you have any plans, if you don't have any plans, join us. And this is the channel. This is the main channel where we collaborate as a team. So now she was there in Document Library. We exposed her to some additional knowledge that's in Teams. We brought her from there to here. Okay. And while she is here, that's a discovering part of the information here, she can dig deeper. Now, I promised you that I'm going to also show you Viva Learning as the knowledge hub here. So let me show you that. There's the Viva Learning working right here on the left. If I click on Viva Learning, here's what it looks like. There's a bunch of courses that are available from all different repositories. And this is the learning more moment where she's going to dig deeper to get more information, to get access to all this content, that her manager told her about, that, yeah, we have all this stuff available. So she says, I do need to understand OneDrive because I've been using Dropbox and Google Drive and that kind of stuff before. Let me understand how OneDrive works. So she clicks on that, clicks on the OneDrive here, and she can go to the course by going to the videos. Great. More tried information down here, and this and more. Okay, so that's the digging deeper and learning more phase of a learner's journey, of an employee's journey. All right. Number 3, moving on forward over here. Oops, excuse me. Applying what you have learned. So the third phase, which I feel personally is maybe the most important phase, is when you have already been doing your job and now after a while you need to apply what you have learned, or what you know about at least. You know something exists and now you need to apply those things. Now Jamie has been told that there's a digital coach that's present on top of Dynamics. It's on top of the Microsoft 365 apps and of SharePoint and everywhere over there. So wherever she goes, she should find that digital coach as an overlay on top of all those different interfaces. Okay. So I'm going to show you components used. I'm going to show you VisualSP as a digital coach of the experiences that she gets when she navigates to different applications like that. Let's take a look. All right, so first thing, she's going to go once again to Dynamics, but now she's in a different place. She's in the opportunity screen. I'm sure some of you have Dynamics, some of you use either Dynamics or Salesforce or other things like that, but imagine this being any interface. This is pretty busy. There's a lot going on here, right? We're taking Dynamics as an example. Because there's so much going on, there has been the digital coach, as I said, which has been applied on top of it. And I'll point out the places where the digital coach is, because otherwise you might not be able to catch that. In this interface that you're looking at, this button is put in here by the digital coach. This link is also there by the digital coach. Sales resources, the button is also the digital coach. You got this inline help here. And then there's one more which you can't see because it's completely invisible. It's the timeline. I don't mean the, the actual label timeline, but timeline is a label that is there from Dynamics. On top of timeline, there's a layer. There's an invisible layer of applied to it. So if you click on it, it gives you information about timeline, because that's one of those things which trip people up as to what is the timeline? What do I do with it? What kind of information can I put in there and how? So I'm going to click on these different things and show you how these work. Yeah. First, because this comes up in all sales folks a lot, I need to be able to convert currency into different amounts. It says US dollar, but I need to know what it looks like in euros, for example. So then I click on convert currency because I see that as a digital layer that's been applied using the digital coach on top of it. If I click that, very easily an overlay appears on top, invites me to put this information in. So if I want to put this in exactly, take that. Oh, here we go. I put this in here. Oh, sorry, my copy paste didn't work over here. But here we go. So it's telling me exactly how much it is. Like I didn't put too many zeros in here. This is how many euros. And this is completely interactive over here. So it's giving me how to do this. This was just a particular converter that we pulled in to show you this as an example, but any information from any website can be brought in as a digital coach for, for guiding people as they need it at their moment of need for applying information. The other thing, because Jamie is a salesperson, she needs sales resources. So if she clicks on the button sales resources, it tells her that there are customer use cases, there are flyers and other things that are available to her. So see, picture this thing. Jamie doesn't know where these things exist. She knows that they exist somewhere, but she doesn't know where they exist. In this case, it's giving her the link at the moment of need. So she clicks on customer use case, and it gives her the use cases in this case. Same thing for flyer, it would give her the flyer, but I won't click on that right now. Moving onwards, the timeline, as I promised before, this used to just be a regular label, but we applied a invisible layer on top of it. So if you click on timeline, now it shows you, okay, you can make a new timeline item if you wanted to by clicking on the plus sign and then doing other things over here. So once again, here's exactly what's telling you. You can do the plus sign, check the activity, click on save, okay? So all these things are available to her. In fact, that's not all, but there's a digital coach that's also on the right of the screen. It says Dynamics Help. So if you click on that, she sees all of the information that is specific to opportunities. Because she's in the opportunity screen, it shows managing an opportunity, managing life cycle, all that stuff is available right there. And that's also coming from the LMS in this case. Now, similarly, when she goes to a document library like this one, there are components here which are also as a digital overlay. I already showed you the document library tour, for example. There's another thing. Okay, here we go. The inline help, for example, is also here. If I click on this, because I don't know what this means, I get to see that this is actually a view. If I click on that, this shows me all the different views and says here you can make your own view also. Everything just helping me as I go along. Now, I know as Jamie was told that you can make additional columns in here. Well, that's great. She can make columns. She can click on this, but she was also told that, Jamie, you can make a column which can have different formatting depending on the data in the column. So it's like a formatting choice column, okay? Formatted choice column. So she doesn't know exactly how to do this. She's going to go to the digital coach, which once again, the digital coach is right there, always available, always as an overlay on top. In this case, it says it's a Contoso help. She clicks on that. She starts typing in format. Oh, here we go. Formatting choice columns. So if she clicks on the format choice columns, it gives her an overlay telling her, here's what you do, Jamie. You choose this, click on choice. That's what the first thing says. And then you make your choice and then choose a different color. And it's giving all this information as an overlay. It's staying on top. It's not going away, and I can just put all this information in as I'm watching this. Okay, so department is going to be the name of my column. I'll put some choices here: IT, HR. And then it's showing me over here how you can choose the different colors. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, great. So now I know exactly how to do this thing. Click on save, and I'm done. Right? So it guided me along as a user, showing me exactly what I needed at my moment of need. And that's the apply moment. Okay, when I'm truly need help and I need to apply the information that I know about or that I know exactly how to do. Oh, well, that I know about or that I need to learn how to do. So that's learning while doing. Okay, the fourth moment of need, the fourth phase that all employees go through is when things go wrong. Problem solving is a part of life, right? So in this particular case, Jamie has been at her job for 6 months now. Jamie knows a lot of information, which is great, but problems do come up. And I'm going to show you the exact problem that Jamie is going to experience and what she's going to do about it. How does she solve a challenge as it arises? It's going to be a small one, but at least you'll get an experience for it. And the second one, if she needs help from, an actual human person, how can she get help from a support desk? So for this one, I'll be showing the digital layer, the digital coach, and she does that. Okay, she's in a screen. Jamie is clicked on opportunity and she clicked on new opportunity. So now she's making a new opportunity. But what she sees here is a field that she is not aware of, forecast category. She does not know how to, what these different choices in here mean. There are a bunch of choices. Best case, committed, omitted. What does that mean? Well, thankfully, there is an inline help icon provided by the digital coach, and it's going to let her know exactly what these things mean. Commit, best case, closed, etc. Wonderful. But there's still some more. She needs to attach some files to this opportunity. So she clicks on files, and there's no information here. There's no help here. There's nothing here, and she's stuck. And she's sitting at home, and she needs help from the support desk. So once again, she's going to go to the digital coach, and here there's actually a link here telling her she can talk to support. This particular link here has it hooked up so she can actually talk to someone within Microsoft Teams. But honestly, this could actually be hooked up to any environment. So consider when you're hooking it up from the digital coach, you're hooking it up to any environment. She clicks on talk to support. In this case, a digital overlay comes up asking her, okay, do you want me to take you to the support? She says, yes, take me there. And once again, Teams comes up, and this time it takes her to the support desk where she can ask her questions right there. Okay. Once again, uh, when problems arise, and I just showed a quick demo of how you can take it to this particular system, which is a very rudimentary, very easy support desk within a channel. Many times it's going to be either Zendesk or ServiceNow or some other application as well. Similarly, you can take people from one place as a digital coach to a different place using this mechanism. The fifth phase, when things change. So change and transformation is a part of life. We all know that. What do we do? How do we respond to the change? That's, of course, up to us. And that's the fifth moment of need for every employee, for every practitioner, for every end user. And I'm going to be showing you how that is accomplished using LMS 365, so our learning management system, and using VisualSP as a digital coach. So picture this. Jamie, of course, has been part of this organization now, Contoso Corporation, for quite a while. Now, new rules and regulations at Contoso have come up. There's an essential training on workplace harassment that has to be taken by all employees. If all employees don't take the workplace harassment training, well, the company's going to get in trouble. Problem is that all the employees have been emailed multiple times about this training, but not many have taken it. email inboxes are just blowing up. There's just so much information and email coming through, and people are not, and Contoso is not able to get this information in front of the right people. So what do? They turned once again to their digital coach to provide the information from the LMS, and I'll show you that example. In this case, I'm going to a site here, nothing to do with Microsoft. This is a completely WordPress-based site, and this is an example of a human resources system. So Jamie is coming here to the human resources system because she needs to file a leave of absence, which is right here. Oops, excuse me. Yeah, she needs to file a leave of absence, which is right here. She goes to the leave of absence screen. Let's see what happens. Now, before she can do anything, Contoso Corporation has already set up where anybody who comes to this screen automatically gets this dialog box saying, listen, everybody needs to take the workplace harassment training and it must be completed by November 12th. Has a cool animated image over here. And you got two options. Jamie has a couple options. She can say, I'll do it later, but unlike her other emails and stuff, if she does click on I'll do it later, the admins in this case will know that she clicked on that and they'll be waiting for her to do it. Or she can go ahead and click on the take the training and actually do the training. Now, Jamie does have the time right now to take the training. She doesn't know where the training is. She knows it's in the LMS somewhere, but she just clicks on take the training. And instead of her going to the actual training, the learning is coming to her. The learning is coming to the learner. It's saying, here's the workplace harassment training overview. Let's go ahead and go to learning items. It says that, okay, well, in this case, you already started. Go to the first item. So in this case, I'm going there, first one, second one, okay, completed. This way, she now has the information coming to her. It counts towards the LMS credits she's going to get also. So even though she never went to the LMS came to her, and in the records of the LMS is going to show that she did this training because she did really do it. Okay, so that's an example of when things change and when corporations need to get information to their users in a hurry, in an emergency, especially, you block them in the flow of their work. Sometimes you just have to do that, give them the information they need and have them do it. All right, so that was the 5 moments of need that I wanted to show you about. In summary, you have the end users. I'm sorry, so I want to summarize the whole presentation over here and then dive into some questions as well. End users want to be helped and not heavily trained. That's just a reality. Supporting users at the moment of need is the path to success. Implementing the 5 moments of need, which I'm sure was new to many of you here, is definitely the way to go, in my humble opinion. I've been a follower for quite some time, and it's wonderful how you can truly, truly help learners, your employees at their moment of need, all moments of need, planning it out the right way. And the right way, also in my humble opinion, is the blended or hybrid approach, using the products you have on hand. So many people have LMSs, some have knowledge hubs as well, or a combination of, or digital coaches. I showed you an example of digital coach using our own product, VisualSP, to do that. Of course, you can have digital coach programmed yourself as well if you wanted to do that. But those are the examples of how you can take the blended learning approach to get all of the moments of need covered and help your users at the moment of need. Now, I'm going to show you the next steps over here, then I'll open it up to questions. Carrie, who you met in the beginning, she can answer questions about the digital coach if you need to learn more about that. In this case, VisualSP, this is her email address, and that's our site address, visualsp.com. If you need help convincing other team members with some of the information that I presented today, or presenting this thing internally and you need help, just the organizational aspect of it, let us know and we can do a similar presentation to like this, customized to your needs for within your company, your internal group. And lastly, if you have any other questions, let us know. No company cultures are alike. There's always differences, and we are here to help. So if there's anything, let us know. I'm going to go ahead and turn my webcam on. Here we go. Hopefully you can see me now. All right. I'll look at the questions. And if you have anything to add meanwhile also, Carrie, could do so.
I think you did a great job with that overview, and hopefully I saw some positive comments about the helpfulness of it. And yes, we will be sharing the recording. People always ask about that. So we'll email that out after, and you're welcome to pass that along to your colleagues as well if you think that would be helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see a few people asking the same exact question about the recording. So we will share the recording with all of you folks. If you want to show it to others, feel free to do so. And as I mentioned, the offer is still there. If you have folks inside of your company that you want to talk to us about and you want us to come in and talk to them, your learning advisors or learning managers or CIOs, we can definitely do that also. You know, usually another question that comes up is the analytics behind all of that. Very important that you want to assess everything that's happening. And I can show you some of that assessment here also in a minute. But when people are stuck, in this case, I gave you an example of Jamie, for example, when she's stuck, you want to know where she is stuck. Was she in the human resources system that you provided her? She's stuck over there with some information. Was it in OneDrive? Was it in SharePoint? Was it in Dynamics? Was it in ServiceNow, Workday? Where was she exactly where the questions arise? What were those questions? What happened? And all those things can be gathered by the digital coach and other systems like that. So you can truly cater personally to each individual. All right, so actually I'm gonna go ahead and show that quickly here since I'm still sharing my screen, I believe, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Within that, if I go to the digital coach in the VisualSP here, if I go to view analytics as an admin, main thing that people want to know is, are things that I'm doing with overlaying all the information, is that helping or not? How many people are actually viewing these items that I'm putting out there, either automatically loading them or putting them as a button or something like that? So how many items are being viewed? How many hours are being saved because of this information? And what are the savings in productivity? Very important to put the ROI directly in front of people to help them truly understand, help your superiors truly understand also as to if this is paying off or not. And then digging deeper into what are the clicks that are happening from different systems, clicks by application, within human resources, within other third-party applications, within SharePoint, within Dynamics, so forth. This is what I was talking about before. This is one of my favorite as a trainer also, is when people are stuck, they're going to do it with their behavior. They're going to show you with their behavior what they're stuck on. I'm looking for the dark mode in OneDrive. I'm sure many of you are familiar that there's a dark mode in OneDrive, but it's not easy to get to sometimes. I don't know how to get to it. So someone searched for it. Here you can see exactly the person that searched for it. Where were they when they did a search for it? When did they search for it? How many times did they search for it? All that information is very helpful. And further along, different clicks by user. So which user has been clicking on where? Let's see what Alex has been up to. So Alex has been clicking on all these different things. Now we know where was he and what he clicked. When did he last view it? Clicks by help item. So in reverse, as a digital coach, who said talk to support? That's the one that I clicked on before. Megan was the one that I clicked on talk to support, and she clicked on it on yesterday. This is showing that for the analytics for yesterday. Clicks by browser, clicks by viewer media type, and more below that as well. So all this information is very valuable to companies trying to understand what the user behavior is. Because the reality is you ask the users and they won't tell you everything, but you have to look at the behavior as to what's going on, where they're stuck, where they need help, and go from there. Yeah?
Asif, we did have a
Yeah.
couple questions that came up.
Yes.
One, I'll field them to you and you can respond. So does VisualSP support different languages?
Yeah, very good question over here. As a digital coach, VisualSP, absolutely. If here, I was looking at this information here, if I was logged in French or Spanish or whatever else, automatically the content here will show up in that language. There's no configuration. It is just completely automatic looking at the system because it is integrated directly in the browser and the operating system also. Good question.
And then there's another one. Curious about the 5 moments of need. So do you actually talk about the 5 moments of need while training end users, or is it a framework that you use to help facilitate how you are helping them?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. So I personally would not talk to all the end users, maybe some, but not remaining, because the 5 moments of need framework, this methodology, is for the practitioners who are taking care of the end users, who are responsible for the end users. If you start talking about the 5 moments of need with the end users, it might not have the same effect that you're looking for. That's at least been my experience. But folks like yourself who are in charge of helping users, communication managers, intranet managers, digital workspace managers, directors, the CIOs, those folks definitely, as you'll see, there's a lot of practitioners in your space doing 5 moments of need framework and planning for it.
All right, that's all that I've got in the chat feature.
All right, a little bit of quiet group over here. I just saw a few questions here as well. If you have other questions, definitely please let us know. We made this a hour webinar here, but we don't necessarily need to take your whole hour. But we thank you for being here. And my email is asif@visualsp.com. If you want to email me directly, Carrie's email, as you saw before, is kari@visualsp.com. Let us know and give us some feedback as well about the webinar, and let us know if you have any other questions and if we can help you with something. Yeah?
Thank you all for your time. Have a great day.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.